Welcome to Think PH Live 2019. I'm Siege Tantenko, and earlier we were together as we went through our sustainability fair, and now we're here for the main event, which is our roundtable discussion where we're going to be talking about how technology can be used for good. But before we meet our speakers, I want you to get involved in the discussion. So to everyone watching this Facebook Live, just leave a comment down below and to answer this question. What brands or companies do you think are using technology for good? So if you've ever heard of a brand that has a very interesting project happening right now, maybe a campaign that really impressed you, tell us about it, and we're going to pick 2 winners with the best answers and give them priority seats for our next Think PH Live event. So stay tuned. We're going to be announcing our winners at the end of this program. Now, technology is something that has improved our lives drastically. It has changed the way that we behave, the way that we think, the way that we get to work. Every aspect of our lives is involved with technology. So just take a look at our smartphones. Every day we carry around that super piece of technology, computing power in our own pockets. Shopping is easier than ever, more dangerous than ever. So everyone who has fallen victim to online shopping sales, I feel you. And you always hear about these great advancements, such as technology that makes life more accessible for people with disabilities. There have been advancements such as phones that vibrate as a way of connecting to deaf, blind people. And there are always great stories when you think of how we innovate. But at the same time, technology comes with its costs. One of the scary things right now in the realm of technology is deepfakes. So you get a person, you get another person, you can switch and map someone's face onto another. And the big question here is that going to be used for nefarious purposes when it comes to political campaigns? We are making fun of it right now. A lot of comedians are buying the technology to put Nicolas Cage's face on their own, but even though we laugh about it, these are real concerns that we are going to have to contend with in the years to come. At the same time, cybersecurity breaches are something that we are all worried about. Whether you're a private company or a government agency, everyone is at risk and everyone is trying to protect themselves. But even though we have a lot on our minds and a lot to worry about, there are good stories out there, and that is what we want to share with you today. We want to talk about the root of technology and what its purpose is and what it can be if we take a more hopeful approach to it. And that is the idea that technology can help the lives not just of the few, but of many. And here to talk to us about how we can use technology to empower our communities, to empower the people around us, we are joined by our 3 panelists. So we have Attorney Nika Hosaka of Grab Philippines.
Hi.
Hello. And then we have Gorby Dimalanta of Bukid Fresh.
Hello.
And then we also have Paul Galakan of Tracaro.
Hello.
Okay, so let's do a quick round and tell us a little bit about your company.
Right. Grab has been around for 7 years, and we are present in Southeast Asia. I think that, I would like to think that a lot of people are familiar with Grab services. We are known primarily to be a transport company, but we also offer other services such as delivery services, food delivery services, and even online payment. And just in line with using tech for good, Grab has actually improved the lives of a lot of people. And that's essentially how Grab started. It started in 2012, wherein our founder wanted a safer, better transport option, especially for women. And we are proud that for the last 7 years, we have actually reached millions of lives and have improved millions of lives, both of passengers and driver partners.
I know I'm one of them. Even before in 2012, I think I was already using the service, 2013 with my friends. And I think I use Grab like 4 times a week.
That's great.
It's great. So thank you. You have helped my life. Gorby, tell me about Bukid Fresh.
Well, contrary to Grab's 7 years of existence, we just actually started this year. Basically, what we do is we're a digital farm-to-fork solution. So we help our farmers sell their produce prior to harvest. In this way, farmers are more assured of a market and they're given at a fair price. We help them compute their cost of production, and based on that cost of production, we agree on an amenable price point for them that's sustainable for them to continue their farming needs. On the other side, we give consumers access to quality and fresh produce delivered to their doorstep. So yes.
Yeah, you know, on social media, a lot of Filipinos have been expressing their desire to help our farmers and to support our local agriculture. So it is great to hear about companies like yours doing the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul.
So, Tracaro is an online sustainability rating platform for hotels, restaurants, and tour operators. We created this platform so that travelers, even without the knowledge of sustainability, can see and compare which establishments are really helping conserve the environment as well as empower the local community. So we just started last year, and now we have already a platform that you can already download to see establishments already.
Right. So it's kind of like TripAdvisor
Yes.
with an eye for sustainability.
Yes.
That's great. So for each of you, you are making changes in your own industries. You disrupted it and you're with an eye towards helping people. What for you is a definition of responsible technology?
Okay, I'll start. Okay, responsible technology really is the essence of why technology came about, really. And for Grab, it's really for social good and welfare. It's to be able to use technology to further a specific need, making it more convenient for people, making it more accessible, and also inclusive. We believe in digital inclusion, which I think is also part and parcel of responsible technology, wherein there is accessibility not just for those who probably have already everything, right? But those who are unable to have access to a platform, have access to transportation, have access to a sustainable livelihood. I think that's part of the essence of responsible technology.
It's great. What about you?
Well, for me, responsible technology is making do with technology that's for social good. I guess in my case, what we do is we help farmers to get access to information that wasn't available before. Whereas before, information is being held by few. With us, it's now in the masses. So that for me, responsible technology is making access to technology even to the, I guess, the lower levels of society.
Connecting people.
For my case, it's about technology that is being used with a positive impact in mind, but at the same time having the right liability on the effect it has to the stakeholders. So it's not just talking about, yes, I have an impact, but is it doing the right impact to the stakeholders as well?
You know, one of the things that people think about the tech industry is that it's purely profit driven. It's purely how do we, just beat our competitors. But what your businesses are proving is that there is room to pursue a social good with the things that you do, even if it means going the extra mile. So for Gorby, tell us about your experience in bridging tech with agriculture.
Well, that's really a challenge for us because, as you know, the average age of farmers here in the Philippines is really quite old already. And it was a challenge for us to introduce something that's new. And initially, they really had to focus on what's the market for it. So yeah, there were a lot of pivots for us on the business model, on how we came about with Book and Fresh right now. So yeah, basically the challenge for us is really adoption. I mean, the technology is there for their taking, but sometimes it's really hard for older people, I guess, especially for farmers. And that's why we're actually tapping into their children. to encourage them to go back to farming, use our platform, and they get to earn more. At the end of the day, it's for farmers. It's of course it need to be sustainable for their livelihood as well. So yeah, in my case, it's about getting back through through the children of the farmers.
And in that way, you're also changing their perception of what they believe farming can be. And that's
Yeah.
been shaped by, I guess, the broken system
Yeah,
that
yeah.
their parents have experienced. But by modernizing it,
Yeah.
there's a chance at changing that perception. Paul, how does your platform support yung advocacies of yung mga just ordinary mom and pop shops?
Well, for Tracaro, our main goal is to raise awareness for sustainability, sustainable tourism in that sense. Basically, we want to give opportunities to these establishments that are actually doing good by sourcing within the community, prioritizing the local community. We want to give them an avenue where travelers can see these establishments, because when you go to travel, you just look at different tourist destinations based on their pricing, their location, so on and so forth. And it has detrimental effects. For example, the influx of tourism in different areas can close that or damage that. And we want to prevent that as well. So we want them to introduce this mom and pop shops that haven't been discovered yet. We want to introduce this establishment. So we incentivize those establishments to give more value to them being more sustainable.
You said you were inspired by Boracay and what
Yes.
happened to it.
We actually didn't want that to happen again here in the Philippines. And it's not just in Boracay. For example, islands in Thailand, in Indonesia, even famous spots in Iceland, so on and so forth, are, if not close, planning to be closed because of the influx of tourism and the effect it has. So it's actually destroying the local community and then the local ecosystem. And we don't want that to happen again here.
What do you think the role is of tech in educating your consumers about sustainability? And this goes for both you, Paul, and Gorby.
Sorry.
What is the role of tech of your company in introducing or educating consumers regarding sustainability?
For me, the role of technology is giving them access to sustainable means of procuring or getting their fresh produce. Because the traditional means, as you go to the grocery, supermarket, or the palengke, wherein there were already a lot of layers of middlemen that has gotten through before the fresh produce got by customers. So with us, the technology enables consumers to get access to farm fresh or farmer straight produce. So
Yeah.
In our case, it's actually the backbone of Tracaro, wherein we want to talk to people, engage more people so that we can encourage them to become sustainable as well. Because as I mentioned earlier, the advocacy is to raise more awareness for sustainability and specifically for sustainable tourism. And by engaging them easier with technology, with the apps that we are actually using right now, it's more efficient to do that, so that it's easier now to introduce the concept of sustainable tourism, what sustainable tourism is, the practices, and its effect for themselves, for the environment, as well as for the local community. So it's actually very efficient to use.
Yes. And I think people would be surprised also to hear about the efforts that Grab Philippines is doing within this field, because every day we think of it, okay, I need to get from point A to point B, I'm gonna take a Grab. But you have these wonderful projects that help communities as well as young people. Tell us about your projects through Grab Food and also Grab Buklat.
Right. Grab Food, so everyone uses Grab Food, I suppose, just to order food. You know, when you're lazy to go out, when
Guilty?
you don't
Guilty?
want to, when you don't want to go through traffic because you know it's dinner time, everyone's out, so you just order, right? But what's amazing about Grab Food is that a lot of our merchants are actually, aside from the big restaurants that you see on the platform, a lot of them are small carinderias or those jolly jeeps that you see in Makati these different food channels that don't really have a platform or don't even have that capacity to deliver food. So they're available on the platform, and suddenly people know what IC Sisig is or Sisig Sarada is. Suddenly people know the small carinderia in the corner near someone's house or near someone's office, right? And what's amazing here is that because of their presence on the platform, they're able to reach a huge market, and also they're able to sort of make not just more money, but also think of how to scale up their businesses. So they can start as, like I said, a carinderia, and then next thing you know, because of the reach that they are able to get from Grab, they're able to make it even bigger. Same goes for our SMEs. There are a lot of small, medium enterprises that use Grab Express, which is our delivery service. And a lot of them, for example, sell online but don't have the capacity to really deliver the products to their buyers. And that's where Grab also comes in. And like you mentioned, aside from those integrated in the platform, we do partner with a lot of institutions, and we try to also reach out to both private and government groups in order to see where Grab can actually fit in. The last one that we did was with Teach for the Philippines, and we launched a partnership called Grab Booklet, wherein old books of Grab users can be donated through the platform. They simply just book a Grab Express and select Grab Booklet, and their old books can be donated to Teach for the Philippines. So those are, I would say, small partnerships that, apart from what we've already been doing in collaboration with small businesses on the platform, we're able to expand by partnering with different institutions.
Yes. And even with your day-to-day operations, the way that your drivers themselves are empowered just by the access to passengers that they get through your app, that's a big
Correct.
thing also.
Correct. In fact, it's amazing how when you talk to a Grab driver, actually, they're able to share what the amount of money that they were able to save and how they were able to send their kids to school. We see them, these driver partners, we see them as their own SMEs, actually. A lot of them earn twice as much as your regular wage earner. And we also take pride in the fact that while some are part-time, others are full-time, other OFWs have also decided to come home and spend more time with their family and opt to be a Grab driver partner as a form of livelihood.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But even though you're all working in very exciting areas, there also comes risk every time you're online. And let's talk about some of the problems that our industry has been facing. So recently, this month lang, the Philippine Rice Research Facebook page was hacked. So all of their content was replaced with Pokemon. And that's a major cybersecurity breach. So my question for you is, how do you protect yourself against risks like that for a large company and also for small ones? Who would like to go first?
I think I can go first.
All right, Paul.
Well, for our case, the access, we're very strict with the database access. It's only me and the team that has access to it. And since we're a very small company, we don't have a dedicated server yet to use. So what we do is go to use the service of the big guys so that it's more secure to have. And that's our way to make sure that access to the app is limited, and then passwords and security-wise, it's only the user that has access, even as we don't have the access to the passwords of the users. So that's what we're doing, I guess, for the security.
All right.
I guess Paul tackled the infrastructure level. So for us, it's about making sure that our customers are actually there when they receive the produce, right? Since what we deliver are perishables, we make it a point that we have direct contact with their customers, and that what they ordered is real, because we already pay the farmers even when we haven't got delivered the produce yet to our customers. So yeah. From our end, it's about making sure that the customers' orders are valid, and we have that system as well.
What about for a big business? I mean, when you're talking about customers,
Yes.
this is customers in the millions. How do you deal with that?
I think it's important to highlight that for big companies, especially now in the Philippines, we do have the Data Privacy Act. And the Data Privacy Act, what's great about the government right now, it tries to catch up. While technology is very fast, like you said, everything is just very dynamic, at least regulation-wise, the Philippines is trying to sort of catch up. And the Data Privacy Act is there. It's there as a safeguard. But what we do in Grab is education. It's proper education for passengers, users, and drivers. And the way that data is handled goes through a very strict system whereby, since it's a double-sided platform, whereby both the handlers of the information, so that's the people working for Grab and also delivery partners and driver partners, and as well as the passengers. The passengers should be educated as to what information to give, whether it's personal information or sensitive information. We try to keep our systems updated, our websites and the platform informative in order to educate all the stakeholders that use the platform itself.
What's the biggest problem that your company has faced with regards to technology?
Oh, wow. Okay, there may be different issues in relation to technology. One of the priorities of Grab, not just in the Philippines, but in all other countries, is really safety and security, right? And there may be certain issues or reports that circulate involving certain incidents relating to security and safety. And these are the things that we always try to address immediately. How do we do that? We do have the passenger verification format, for example. We have driver trainings. These are anything that's related to security, I would say, is ultimately linked to technology because of the platform. And whenever there are certain incidents that are reported, or even the smallest complaints that are brought to Grab, are taken very seriously. Because like I said, we feel that our service, the primary or priority or core of the service, is really safety and security.
Right. And it's great that you guys are taking steps to address that.
Absolutely.
That's so
Absolutely.
important for tech companies or any company at all. Now, when you have this feedback, you need to take action. And when it's an issue in tech, which affects just day-to-day life,
Yeah.
it has to be acted on fast. What about for you, Gorby? Was there any, I'm sure there are lots of interesting stories of problems you encountered, especially with agriculture. May nawala bang kamatis dyan?
Actually, I was thinking of what I'm gonna say, but that's actually one of the things that a problem. Sometimes when we deliver it to the rider, when it comes to the customer, apparently there were some missing items. So I guess from that end, yeah, we have some problems sort of in logistics. Basically for us, technology is an enabler, not really the core product. But yes, those are some of the instances that we've encountered with regards to technology.
And how do you address those? Is the solution technology based also? Is it something
Well,
that's more?
Yeah, actually, it really isn't based on technology
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
on
gonna
ground.
be it's relational. Some aspects of our business, even though we're an e-commerce food delivery company, it's really, some of them are relational as well, building that relationship with your delivery people. So yeah, not all solutions are technology and
Yeah. That said, if you're taking kamatis, don't take the kamatis. All right, Paul, how about you? What's the biggest problem that your
For
company
our
has faced?
case, since we're really a small company, the biggest problem that we encountered is actually getting the tech itself. creating the tech and then after incorporating changes that needed, because tech is tech and information, it's always changing, and you have to adjust based on the user's feedback. You have to incorporate what is being used, what is being changed. So that's actually the biggest problem that we have. So what we did was, initially we got interns to do the project, and then after right now, we're actually looking for a full-time developer to do the app, because we have the app itself and we want more ideas to be incorporated with the platform so that we can continuously improve it and tailor fit it to what the users really need and users really want to use. That's it.
What I'm getting from this discussion is that if you want to use tech for good, you have to be willing to go the extra mile. And you get the Hugot smile. That's a smile with some Hugot right there. There are lots of businesses out there. Some of them, they might already be interested in pursuing sustainable practices or using technology for good. Some might be traditional, not yet convinced. What is your message for other businesses? Why is it a good thing for them to pursue like a higher purpose in their use of technology?
I go first. For me, it's really about It's about long-term. Sustainability isn't a short-term thing that you will see in your bottom line, your financial statements. Sustainability is one thing that a company should or would go through if they would like to be in the long run. I guess it's also about taking care of the planet that we live in. So sustainability, it's all about, I guess what Paul said, the triple bottom line also. And so it's not about just the profit, but also the people in their company and the planet as well. So if you just live in one, so you have to take care of it.
Yes, beautiful.
For our case, you have to look at two things. First is the environmental effects. You have to consider that deforestation, pollution, so on and so forth is actually destroying the tourist destinations that we want to go to. And we don't know even after, it could actually close after 2 to 3 years, so we don't know. So we have to conserve that because it gives livelihood to the people around it. And that's the value of tourism to them. Next is, of course, for the businesses, because people are now becoming more aware of sustainability. There was a recent, well, not necessarily recent, last 2015, there was actually a survey that said 8 out of 10 Filipinos are willing to support those businesses that have a socially positive impact as well as environmental friendly items. So people are now more aware and they are willing to support those establishments that are doing that. So businesses should also go into that phase that they have to look at sustainability as another way to get profit, because people are now being aware of that and they are willing to support. So that's another effect that we have to look at. And I would advise businesses to go the extra mile and invest in sustainability because it's for their own sustainability as well.
Mm-mm. And what about for you, Attorney Nika?
I think that sustainability is actually very relevant, not just for small businesses, but also those that are already big and established. Because sustainability essentially is trying to make your business not just relevant today, but also still relevant in the future. You want it to be, you want it to contribute to the society in a positive way, so that you're not only doing great today, but you also have that in the horizon that you'll still be able to exist in the future. While a business can be on top today and tomorrow just down in the slums, right? So that's one thing that businesses should consider. The sustainability of having that social impact and responsibility for your users, your stakeholders, and the environment that we live in. And I think that especially for those bigger ones that want to keep that status or to actually grow even bigger, it's important for them to realize that impact and that social good and that mindfulness towards the environment are actually very, very important.
Now, for the average Filipino, maybe someone who doesn't own a business, what are the ways that individuals can get involved in using technology responsibly? Well, donate your books.
For Grab, for example, we do have like what I mentioned earlier. It's important for us to educate both passengers and the driver partners as well, delivery partners as well. There are certain reports of usage. This is a very simple example. Certain usage, for example, of the app that are not very responsible because it affects the lives of delivery partners, of driver partners, for example. I think that passengers or users should also remember that, like I said, it's a two-sided platform. So whenever you use the app, this is very, very basic. Whenever you use the app and you say, for example, to your driver that you'll be right there or you'll be down in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it's a responsible way of sort of being a responsible passenger because you think of not just yourself but the driver as well. When you order, for example, on Grab food and you order a lot of, let's say, 5 milk teas, for
Yeah.
example, then you respect that order and you think of the delivery partner behind the platform.
Who had to line up?
Correct, who had to line up. So while for us, in front of us is just our phone and in front of us is just the app, we have to go beyond that and think of the actual human being who will service us. Yeah.
Wonderful. What about for you?
I feel that situation because sometimes like for our end also some people order and then it gets delivered, they're not there, nobody's answering. So that's already like waste of natural resources, and these natural resources are quite limited and it's scarce right now. For us, sustainability, support local. And for our business, what we do, even our sourcing or procurement of fruits and vegetables are done in a environmentally friendly way, and we try to minimize our carbon footprint. So we only get within a certain kilometer radius of our partner farmers. And when we deliver to our customers, we do it in eco-friendly bayongs. So no plastic waste, and that's how our business supports sustainability.
In our case, I would actually recommend that to really reduce your waste, especially plastic waste, single-use plastics, and then support the local produce, the local items that are being sold. And for a traveler, I think the best recommendation would be to follow the mantra of a sustainable traveler, which is leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but pictures, and then kill nothing but time. So that's basically it's respecting the environment and living it as it is, so that people can actually enjoy in the future as well.
Wonderful. Now, being part of this industry, I'm sure we all take inspiration from other campaigns, other initiatives, and we think of those and say, oh, sana all, right? What are the other brands or companies that have impressed you? This is our chance to talk about other ideas, even outside of your industry, that you feel are good examples of using technology responsibly.
I think there was, when we were conceptualizing with Tracaro, there was a similar idea, but instead of the rating establishments, in the US, there's a startup, I forget the name, but they were rating supermarket goods and how sustainably they were sourced. So we were really inspired to see what if we can actually do that to the Philippines here. For example, instead of giving this customer rating, we can provide the sustainability rating. And also, for example, going here in local, there are a lot of startups that are socially involved as well, incorporating tech to their system. For example, Husayco, Supportal, so on and so forth, that have their own social impacts as well. And they were really inspired us to push further with sustainable tourism as well.
That's great.
Well, probably for us, there's a similar concept. There are actually a lot of similar startups, not just here, but in the US. But one thing probably, like how Grab does it, to make it more efficient for the rider and the driver. So that was actually what we conceptualized before we pivoted business model. But yeah, I guess what Grab does, we do it also in terms of like making it more efficient for farmers. So we draw inspiration from them, I guess.
Great.
Yeah.
This is, we are setting up a partnership, sure. But yes, how about for Grab?
Yeah, so for Grab, because like what I mentioned earlier, we primarily were known as a transport service, right? But because of the different services that Grab provides or the different services available on the platform, we always feel like there's still room for more. And I personally admire startups that use technology for education and health. There are a lot of startups also locally that their thrust is health, and they use technology to have for people to have access not just to medical services but hospital services, services of professionals, and also education, where there's some apps or there are some platforms that make education more accessible, not just for those in cities or in urban areas, but also for those in rural areas. And the way that Grab would want to be Southeast Asia's super app is to sort of involve itself in your day-to-day needs, in a person's day-to-day needs. But also we feel like there are other opportunities and other areas that we can actually include. And we draw inspiration from that. We start by partnering with institutions, as I had mentioned. Teach for the Philippines, for example, is a partner. Pfizer, for example, is a new partner as well, whereby we try to provide transport services for cancer patients.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
those are the things that we continue to explore. And because we find inspiration and we see that there is a need and there is an avenue to help, that's definitely one thing that Grab constantly tries to achieve. Yeah.
You know, for me, one of the projects that impressed me out of sustainability news recently is that a very large sneaker company identified that by a certain year, if we don't do anything, there will be more plastic in the sea than fish. So what they did was they collected plastic and they developed a system by which plastic can be turned into sneakers. So the goal for them is in a few years, they will no longer be using any polyester that is virgin polyester. So all of their plastic will be, all of their polyester material will be coming from plastic. And that's great because it's not actually changing the behavior of people. People will keep buying sneakers. We are, you know, you can't stop sneaker culture, you can't stop the drop culture, but you make it in such a way that you empower people to make these better choices for themselves. So just parting words from all of you. What is your big dream? As concise as we can, what is the big dream when it comes to the future of technology and where we should take it? What does the responsible tech future look like for you?
Okay, go.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, go first. For me, the future of technology and in terms of using it to be sustainable is to gather, like to make sure that all of our finite natural resources are produced or are used in a way that's that there's no waste on the other side. For me, we have finite natural resources, and we only need to make sure that there's no wastage on the other end, so that I guess that's it for that's how I feel technology should be used in Internet of Things.
In my case, I think I want to have a future where every people is aware of what are their impacts, basically, and how they are aware on how they can minimize it as well. Because For our case, for example, in Tracaro, we envision it to be like a TripAdvisor for sustainability. Instead of just customer rating, want to give the information sustainability rating. Because we believe that sustainability is no longer just an option. It's actually a necessity now.
I think that in terms of using technology, there has to be some sort of selflessness involved, because then when you're selfless, you understand the impact of how you use technology. And I think what's important, not just for tech-based companies, not just for digital companies, is that learning that or understanding that everything that we do or all our actions have consequences, not just for us, for the environment, for society, or for other people as well. And essentially, bringing technology in would mean that in raising the quality of life, we should be able to find the perfect fit for technology, not just for us, but for the people around us and the environment.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for all of your insights. I'm sure everyone watching at home has learned so much, including our live audience here at Think PH Live. Again, thank you very much, Gorby De Malanta of Bukid Fresh, Paul Galacan of Tracaro, and Attorney Nika Hosaka of Grab Philippines.
Thank you.
If there was something that I would take away from our really rich discussion, if we were to tie it all together, I would say that you guys have hit it on the nail. Sustainability is not an option. You have to do it. It ensures your long-term future. It future-proofs your company. And while it may require you to go the extra mile, encounter some problems along the way, lost kamatis, what's important is this is an initiative, this is a responsibility that we all need to undertake, not just for our businesses, but as Gorby put it, it's for the people. Again, I'm Siege Tantenko. Thank you very much for joining our Facebook Live roundtable discussion here at Think PH. Please share what you've learned in the comment sections. Keep commenting, tell us what you think, and we're going to be reading those. And up next, we are going to have a live jam session to wrap up today's festivities with Caleb Santos. See you in a bit.